What's up, guys? Daemonxel back again with another EVE Frontier video. This time we are discussing the core mechanics of the game, what you need to survive to progress further out into that universe of 100,000 different systems. Let's talk about it. All right, so we are talking about the core mechanics, basically what you need to do to progress so that you are not left behind, having to blow up and start over and over again. There are 5 core structures that are portable, which you can put up and take down wherever you are, as long as you have the materials to do so. Let's go into the build menu so I can show you exactly what we need. So in this build menu, these are our 4. Now, as you can see right here, I already have structures built, but we're going to put down some more. We have portable refineries, we have a printer, and we have a storage. Now, those are 3 of the most important things that you're going to need as you progress further. Now, obviously, what we need is the portable refinery. That is your most important structure of all, and you get that from just having 50 common ore. So what I'm going to say is, as you progress further, when you are finished with the tutorial, before you leave that system, make sure that you have 50 common ore in your hull. Minimum 50 common ore, because that's going to allow you to put down a refinery, and whether you need a portable storage or whatever, you can actually jet can mine to produce the fuel that you're going to need to progress further in there, because without fuel, you are dead in the water. The next most important structure that you're going to need out of these 5 is going to be your portable storage unit. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to drop down another storage unit so I can show you exactly what we're going to need here, okay? All right, so the placement is very simple, right? We're going to go right into the build menu. We have our common ore, and it's just going to take 50. Most of these structures take common ore, so your most important ones, your portable refinery, as well as your storage, are going to take 50 common ore. But it's okay. If you do not have more than 50 and you can't find it in the system, now this is going to come from your let me bring this up here a second. Let me bring up the system map. Now, this is going to come from your natural asteroid clusters. It's also going to come from your, I think there's one called Unremarkable. Let's see, that's over here. Yeah, a natural asteroid, that's going to be common ore. Unremarkable asteroid, that is also common ore. So if you see any of these sites in the system that you're in, that's what you're going to need to mine at least 50 of, if you don't have it, to build this unit. So let's go ahead and build another portable storage. And as you build it, like I said, the placement's a little wonky. You just grab the box and put it where you want. Unfortunately, currently right now, you cannot move it on the Y-axis, that is up and down. You can only move it on the X-axis, which is side to side or front to back. That is unfortunately the only thing we can do here. Hopefully it's going to be different in the future. Like I said, this is an alpha, guys, so everything is subject to change. Everything from build to build, everything is subject to change. So this is for the 6th cycle, A New Dawn. That's what cycle. So this is going to take 2 minutes to build, so I'll be right back after this is done. All right, so our new printer storage, our new portable storage is finished printing and aligning and anchoring down in 6 seconds, and we'll be able to access it. Now, due to a bug that is in the system or quality of life, for it to show up in your inventory, right? We have it right there, but sometimes if you go into one of these menus, you're going to have to click it for it to show up. All right, so we got our second portable storage open. Now, because these are portable, you can only hold 5,000 M3. So it's not meant for huge amounts, setting up. If you're going to be setting up in the system, you definitely want to go to the higher structures, which I'll put out a video later on about those bigger structures and what they entail and what you can get out of them. So let's move these over to the new portable storage, and let's talk about the refinery, right? When we go into the refinery, this is the most important thing, is we want to set that in basically the field that we are mining out. Obviously, it's going to be carbon because that's what we need our fuel from, right? We're going to melt down some carbonaceous ore, and for every 10 that we put in, it's going to give us 16 carbonaceous material and 41 waterite. So you definitely want to drop in at least 500, per tick. It's going to be about 4 to 5 minutes to do that batch. But the reason we do this is for the water ice and the carbonaceous material, but the water ice is our lifeblood. So let's bring up our portable storage. And this is why I put everything within 2 km of each other, so I can access everything at the same time. So we got our water ice here. We got water ice here. So let's drop these all in. And this is going to produce our D1 fuel. And that's what we're going to need to power our ship to continue on. So if you are exploring, that's why this is the most important structure that you could lay down. And to have that 50 common ore in your hull, along with extra fuel. You always want to carry extra fuel with you as you're exploring deeper in, because there may be systems that you jump into that will not have carbon. So you always want to have backup fuel so you can either jump back again or jump forward. That's why we need this. So we're making our fuel here from the refinery, but as you can see with these refineries, we can make other things, right? We can salvage materials will break down into reinforced alloys. Mummified clones, which is not worth melting. It's just not worth it. It's going to give you, let's go over to one of the other refineries because I got 3 of them here. Let's bring this up here. Let's deliver this to the hull. Okay. Bring that in. And to access the other things, you need to not only deliver what you are outputting, but you need to pull out the input. Otherwise, you will not be able to change the menus. So like I said, the mummified clones, right? It's not worth it. You get 1 carbonaceous, you get 7 water ice. It's just not worth it for the amount of effort. Yes, you may find these on PvE sites. It's really not worth collecting and melting down at this point in the game. Salvage materials will give you 1, or for every 3 salvage materials, you'll get 1 reinforced alloy. That, if you have them, melt them down, it's good. Only reason because every time on the printer, which we're going to talk about, when you print out the reinforced alloys, which we need to build bigger structures, as well as other things, such as modules and such, when we talk about the printer, it's going to give you 14 per run. So there are some structures that actually take 15, so you have to do 2 runs of this. So yeah, if you have some of these, melt these down so you can round it out to the number that you need. And the rest of these just melt down, like common ore will melt down into silicates and carbonation material. Metal rich will do precious metals as well as silicates. Carbonation ore, I said again, is the carbonation material as well as water ice. And we talked about the D2 fuel, right? You can refine D2 fuel into salt. Now, salt is used to power higher grade stuff, which I'll put out in a video down the road. That's for like making your own Stargate system, making your own turrets, your smart turrets. All that is going to be powered off of salt. So now let's go to the printer and talk about the printer, right? That's going to be your 3rd most important. Like I said, the first one is the refinery. 2nd is portable storage. 3rd is the printer. Now, you don't need to take around carbonaceous material with you to put down the printer. It's going to take 50 to put this down. You don't need to do it because if you're putting down a refinery, right, in a carbon field, you're mining the carbonaceous material right here, your carbonation ore, you're going to mine that. So all you gotta do is mine 50 out right there, and then you use that, what's in your hull, to drop a printer. Now let's go into the printer, and I'll show you what you can print from your basic printer. From your tutorial, you know that you can make a ship, the Reflex, which is currently in the game the best jumping ship that's available for the best bang for your buck. All right, so we were making a small cutting laser. We're going to try and experiment to see if we can put 2 of them on, even tampering with the tampering with the power grid. So let's take out these other materials that we don't need anymore. And as you can see, so from our printer, we can do the engine for the Reflux, the Nomad program frame. So when you're building this, like I said, from the tutorial, you're going to need 56 reinforced alloy, 304 carbonation material, which we're getting right now because we have to make that fuel, and Nomad frame, which is going to be the fossilized, where is it here? Nomad program, fossilized electronics, which you can get from drones and stuff like that throughout the space. So don't worry about that. Now, we need this printer to build bigger structures because that 5th core mechanic I told you about is the network node. And for the network node, we need reinforced alloys, I think carbon weave, and thermal composites. These 3 right here is what we need to put down the network node. You just double check that. I could be wrong. Oh, no, I was wrong. Thermal composites, 10 carbon weave, and 10 printed circuits. Let's talk about the printed circuits. So, interact. The printed circuits you can make from the silicates, which we were breaking down from either common ore or metal rich ore, and carbonation materials. They just take a little bit longer to build, but once you have those, you can put that down. So this is why this is the third most important. The fourth most important, if you're traveling around, would be the refuge, right? Let's build a refuge real quick. That is only there so that you can access the fitting menu and swap out fits for your ship on the fly. So it's not really important if you're exploring. Like I said, you don't really need to carry that with you. I feel that once you have your fit that you are traveling with, you're really not going to be swapping out that early into the game. All right, so let's build that refuge. We're going to move that right over here. And we got it. That it's going to take about a minute. So we're going to try an experiment. Like I said, I built something. We're going to try to put 2 cutting lasers, which I don't think is going to work because we don't have the power grid for this starter ship. Now, while we're talking about this and while we're waiting for this to anchor, let's talk about that fourth most important, because the refuge is the fifth most important, is the network node. Now, the network node you're not going to need everywhere you go. What you want to do is that network node is when you find your forever home, or when you mate up with your corp, or if you find a system along your travels which is abundant in resources, you can lay down your network node and set your home base. Now, let me go to my network node that's in this system, and that can only be put down in these points here. These are your Lagrange points, your L points. Every system only has a few of them, right? So you can only put so many, and once you do that, it's down. No one else can put one in that area until you take yours down. All right, so we have landed at my L site that has a network node up, and it has a small printer, which is not a portable printer, it's a small printer. Now, when we're building these, right, let's just talk about the network. This is going to be the fourth important one. So we need that carbon weave, we need the printed circuits, and we need the thermal composites, all which can be done from your portable printer to be done through the system, the stuff that you have in the system. So let's go ahead and access this so I can show you what happens. Now, the purpose of the network node, it serves 2 functions. The main function is to power any other building structures that you have at the L point. Those are your big ones. Those are going to be your shipyards. That's going to be your larger storage containers. That's going to be your larger printers. Stuff like that you're going to be able to print like bigger ships, bigger modules, bigger things all together through that. And as you can see, I have a small printer on here, and it's already drawing power. Now, we can use fuel to unwind this. That's right. When you drop this down, it is not working. We actually have to fuel it. Now, this uses your D1 fuel, or you can use other fuel when you go further into the game, such as D2 fuel, your SOF 40, or your EU 40, or your SOF 80 and your EU 90. Now, I know it's confusing. Now, the reason why you have EU 2 different 40s and then an 80 or a 90 is from those rifts that I talked about in another video. The rifts are going to need a special mining lens as well as a special mining cutter to mine these rifts, and basically it's like crude oil, right? You have young rifts, you have old rifts, and that's the only difference. Young rifts are going to give you the higher grade stuff. It's going to get better fuel consumption. Whereas the older rift is going to give you like the old rift gives you the SOF 40 and the SOF 80, whereas the young rift's going to give you the EU 40 and the EU 90. And you can determine which ones you want to refine from that. Now, as you can see, with these fuels, you're going to get different mileage out of your fuel. So currently right now, the easiest one fuel I have is the D1 fuel. So it's going to be using 10 units of D1 fuel per hour to charge and power everything in that L point. D2 fuel is going to be 6.6 units per hour. SOF 40 is 2.5. EU 40 is 2.5. SOF 80 is 1.25, and EU 90 is 1.11. So we're going to add more fuel to this, because it can only hold a certain amount of fuel per day. So basically, currently right now, it can only hold 3.571. So right now, with all the fuel that I put in there, so we have 2,274 fuel out of 3,500, this network node, whether I'm online or offline, is going to run constantly for the next 9 days and 11 hours. Now, once we unwind it, right, there's another feature that we can do here. And that is, and this is for your traveling, if you find that abundant users, we can right click it and we can set it as our home base. By doing so, if you go further and you find out, hey, I don't have enough fuel to make another jump back, or I don't have enough fuel to jump forward, and there's the resources in this system is not what I need to progress further. I can't do anything. I have to self-destruct. Well, instead of getting catapulted all the way back to the starting system, like when you did in the beginning of the game, and then you having to rage quit, you will now pop back to where you set your home base at that network node in that center that has all your abundant resources. So what I like to do is, on my travel to where I am now, my forever home, well, current forever home, basically where I'm setting up shop. On the way there, I found a system, which was multiple jumps out, that had abundant resources. So I dropped the network node. I left all my portable refineries. I left everything up and running there. God forbid, if I did blow up, I can go back. I wouldn't have to mine and drop all these units again. I just have to mine and access my stuff because its stuff is still there. Also, guys, with that network node, if you are using it to build up your shipyard, to basically do all your bigger things, per L point, it gives you 1,000 gigajoules to use. That's as max output as it can put out. Now, obviously, you can offline units to free up some power to distribute amongst other things, but each unit that you online is going to take from that power grid. So it's basically like fitting your ship. You're doing it as a base now. All right, this is that small bug I told you about, how sometimes we're in the area, we're within 2 km of our portable storages, but it's not showing up on our inventory screen. So we basically just have to click it, open it, and it's going to give us access to both. So let's see what's in. I left the cargo container here. What's in here? Okay, let's put that in portable storage. Okay, so let's talk about that last unit, the refuge. Now, like I said, this is just for fitting, right? We're only using the refuge currently. Let's go to full view. Is to fit our ship, or we can park a ship. In other words, if we're in a Wend and we build the next ship up from the tutorial, the Reflex, we can deliver it from our printer directly into the refuge. So a small acts as like a tiny hangar for one small ship. And to access it, like I said, you only need to be within 2 km of the unit itself to be able to access and refit the ship. So now let's try our experiment, right? Let's bring up our inventory. We have our inventory. Let's offline these 2 units to see if it's going to give us the power grid. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. I'm almost positive it's not going to work. So let's put our cutting tool in. We have it. Let's get another lens. All right, so we offline those 2 units. Let's put a lens in here. All right, we got it loaded. Now let's see if we can double mine this and see how bad it's going to drain our cap. And that's going to be the last thing we do in this video. 1 and 4. All right, so it's not bad. So we are using more fuel because, again, fuel is used for everything. As you see, the caps keep cycling down. So we're not going to be able to power this forever, right? The more we use it, the more caps. So this is eventually going to cycle off. But it will save us a little bit more time as we're mining a lot more to build things up. So that's the video in itself. I hope this is going to help you guys progress further in the game. I'll put out more videos, more tutorials on bigger industry, as well as when we start doing PvE stuff, sites, the different sites, the differences between rats, the different rats, all that stuff. But as you can see, we haven't even run in a minute yet, right? And as you see, we're cycling down. We are out of cap. So, but if you just need it fast and you want to kind of do things quick, you can run that. It's just going to take forever for you to power this back up. We need to go up to the next size ship to be able to do it more efficiently. So with that, guys, have a great week. Have a great weekend. I'm also streaming most Monday through Friday. No set time, but you guys can always catch me in the stream as I progress further in the game here on YouTube. But again, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Fly safe. Remember, here on this channel, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front. Talk to you guys in the next video.